What the hex is you guys talking about?
Good morning, you guys. When Bob's.
Hey everyone, it's Sandy Beach at the beach. I hope you're having a great day.
Where is our founder, Richard Hart?
Hello everyone, Richard Hart here. It's my birthday, so I'd figure I'd record you guys a little message, say hello, let you know everything's going all right. Hope you're doing okay out there.
What the heck?
Hey, what the heck? Then Max shows up and no green room time, but boom, here you are.
Zero green room time. What the max?
What the max is what we call
What the
Yeah, this is the first time I've been on the show, and I'm like, okay, there's the intro. Okay, I was a few minutes late, so no green room. I'm just kind of waiting. I'm going to be introduced. What's going on? And it was
because
okay, there we go.
Yeah, unlike your show. Yeah, unlike your show, we don't start at an ish o'clock, right? We just kind of try to act on the German precision here with DJ Cryptomatischer.
I'm very ish. That's true. Yeah, especially when it's a solo stream. I'm like, I'm going to schedule it for a time. And it could be 15, could be 30 minutes plus or minus. I don't know. But like, I'm just going to schedule it so you know it's there. Yeah. Show up when you want to show up.
Exactly. Usually like the time that we're supposed to go on, I remember I can hear like the shower running in the background. You're like brushing your hair. You're like looking, you're like rehearsing in the mirror. Yeah. It's awesome.
You can do this. You can do this. You can do this. That's my mantra.
Mimo, pop it pipe. You're doing like your speech exercises. You're waxing your mustache. You're doing everything. Awesome.
Mustache. Well, does it need waxing? I don't know.
Yeah, all right. Well, you waxed it somehow.
Not much of a mustache right now.
Right on. Anyway,
the show just went wrong. You waxed somehow. What?
Say hello to the folks.
Let's
DJ
say hello to the folks. Welcome everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Avalon is first today. Wow, I'm done with work for a few days. Exactly. Got DJ Doug in the house. Good morning. And Hex on Air, number 3rd. 3 positions. Man, Max, you're bringing the crowd. We get a few people tuning in already. It's usually we're warming up slow. We're on a new time slot. People are still adjusting to that. And so people are coming in. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy Builders Week, because Max is doing the Builders Week.
Builders Week.
It's like here it's Greek weeks at McDonald's, but Max is doing the Builders Week. Maybe we should start right with that. What is that? What is going on? What have you got going on your channel this week?
I didn't realize
what's your name?
And who are you?
No, we don't need to do any of that crap. Go ahead, tell us what Builders Week's going on there.
You can do this. You can do this. So basically, Builders Week is just got together a few of the builders in the community. Literally just made it up. Again, this is a testament to you go do the work. I was like, what is Builders Week? Nobody knows what it is because I just made it up. I just went put together a bunch of streams with a bunch of builders in the community. Yeah. And it happened. And it's been going really well. I had Xerox Coast on, building field on-ramps and stuff. I had them on Monday, had Gerardo from Mintra on Tuesday.
Yes.
Yesterday I had Maximus guys on, Gold Key Dip Catcher. Today I got Buck and Dylan from the PH ecosystem.
Illuminati.
Yeah. That's gonna be a fun one. We're gonna keep the chat really respectful and
about the
good.
Alien group.
I'm sure that'll come up in the chat. I'm sure it will. And then Friday I got Tetra with Stu and Nil for T-shares, and then also so that one kind of slid in. Friday was supposed to be demo day, but Friday morning I got Tetra, and then Friday afternoon I have demo day, which is basically, if you have a product or site or whatever, you get 10 minutes. It's open to everyone. So other streams were kind of just like some of my favorite builders, some of the people I thought were really making a big impact, and just a very short list of people who I could get on stage at the time. And this is Friday's open to anyone. So you can come between 4 and 6 Eastern time. And you have 10 minutes to just go through, tell everyone about your stuff, and just kind of get people exposure to the community. A lot of projects, I only pay attention to a handful of stuff myself, so it's very interesting to see what other people are building rather than just be on Twitter or Spaces. You can show them, you can demo your stuff.
Max, by the way, thank you so much for giving us an extended spotlight on your show, B9.xyz. A lot of good time, and that really meant a lot to us. So thank you so much for also letting us come on.
Papa Boner and boys, they came on the Friday of Security Week, another thing I made up, which is the whole week of security streams. And they came on Friday and went through B9 and their whole project there. So it's there's a lot of people building, and without the community, the code doesn't matter, and vice versa. So we need more people in this Ponzi. Okay, we need to get more people in. We can't just split the buying pressure around everyone who's already here. We got to get just like the government, just like money, just like countries, just like birth rates, just like everything else. We need more people to come in order to grow. So let's show them why they need to be here. Let's do that.
That's great. Hey, DJ Cryptomatic, give me the pole position up where you are. God damn it! I want to see Max eye to eye, please. Give me up. Thank Max.
Let's switch up things.
Speaking of getting people into this Ponzi, I want your honest opinion. It's been less than 12 hours since the announcement of the brand new Trezor SKU. In case you haven't heard, did you hear about this? If not, I'll run it by you and see what you think. Ready?
Barely, yeah. Please go through it because I don't think I only heard from you on Twitter.
I read about it in the B9 Telegram.
Yeah, there you go. So check this out. Last night, and it's sad that Peter's not here because he could do the better impression, seeing that he's Slovak and these guys, of course, are Czech, right? So they have the same accent, Although Peter's is inferior to theirs because theirs is really classy and his is like more, Slavy. But anyway, thank you. You know what Slav stands for, right? Slave. So he's the slave. I guess the Czechs are whatever. But anyway, so that they get up on stage, or the guy gets up on stage, he cracks a few jokes, which I guess the senses of humor are more refined down south. So he had none. And he tried to come off with these, how many people, I view people as those that use Trezor now and those that will use Trezor in the future. But then he goes into the whole thing like, I'm about to unveil these amazing new products. And I mean, I would, me, I'm stiff as a board. So I'm like, what the fuck are you going to bring me? This is like, we're waiting for the Model T. It was like 3.5 years ago. It was like so long waiting. What are you going to fix? I hope it's this. I hope it's this. I hope it's this. I hope it's this. And he says, it's the new fucking Trezor, the version 3, and it has 2 buttons, and it's got the same screen as the Trezor 1, and it's got the same secure element as the Trezor 1, but same price, and it's got USB-C. So there you go. We've dropped the 24-word to 12-word native, and you get colorways.
God, that's cool. Yeah. Did they change the tint of the color a little bit too? It's a little bit shinier.
Perhaps you can get it in gold, silver, rose gold, and black. You don't have to get their little skins anymore. Yeah.
Any extra protection against the government or anything?
Yeah, that's none of that.
That'd be nice.
In fact, they did introduce Shamir secret sharing backup, which was, again, that was like, holy fuck, this is an improvement for no extra cost. That is good. But then you read the fine print and it's like, yes, has 12-word seed. I'm like, it's a Model T, but no screen. That's all it is. It's a Model T with no screen, with no touch panel. So they just imported the old firmware probably into this chassis and said, ta-da. The sad thing is that you still have to have a Trezor 1 to generate a 24-word seed, and then you recover it into this new device, which is arguably better with a USB-C connection. But then you have to give up Shamir backup because you can't do that with an imported seed. The end. The net is USB-C in colorways. What a fucking dud. That's my take. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, the way you describe it, you definitely made it more exciting. I'm glad you went there, and instead of me just clapping in the background. But
I was in my living room clapping. Yes,
yeah. I mean, I think that I mean, definitely, it would be nice. I'm always like thinking in the future what these things are going to look like. Are they going to be built into? You're going to buy a PC and it's going to have like one built into it, or like removable, or like kind of like CDs or removable storage, or the little PCIe cards, which PCM-CIA cards. I know probably both of you may remember as well.
Yes.
I wonder if there'd be like little slots. Yeah. That's how you got Wi-Fi back in the day.
Yeah. Well, damn, you and I are the same age then. That's ridiculous.
Pretty much. I think so.
How come you look so great and I look like shit? I mean, how did this happen?
Give you a lot of avocados. It's really good for the skin.
You eat avocados?
Avocados,
what do you do for the skin?
Okay.
Yeah, they're really good for the skin. You just basically one avocado a day keeps aging away. That's how it goes, right?
Wow. I'm gonna grow a tree right now.
Well, you had Aubrey the Gray on. Did he tell you that?
He told me like 20 years ago. That's how I'm so it's keeping my youth here.
Avocados do it, huh?
That exercise and milk. There you go. Avocados, exercise, and milk. That's your nutrition, not advice. To stay younger, I guess.
All right.
I don't know.
Please do continue, though. I'm sorry to
No. I think it's always so. I guess one interesting thing too to ask is what would make you excited? Like what is some of the things? I mean, I could tell you my stuff too, but like
very simple.
If they were going to unveil something, you'd be like, oh, they're finally going to do this thing. I'm curious, like what were you having no expectations of?
Sure. So here were my non-expectations. When you have Coke, right? When you have Coca-Cola, you have the recipe that people seem to enjoy. You learn what happens when you fuck with it, right? And then there's the classic thing. Everyone knows and enjoys Coke. You know what it's used for. It doesn't explode. It probably causes cancer, but only over 85 years. So that's like the life expectancy of man. So it's a non-problem. You don't fuck with it, right? So minor little improvements onto the can, like a Christmas thing or a Thanksgiving thing or whatever is acceptable, but you really don't have to fuck with the red can. Just iconic, done. You know what it tastes like. It's dependable and it's always consistent. So with the Trezor, all I was hoping was that there was a middle ground between the Trezor 1 and the Model T. A lot of people don't like the touchscreen, right? A lot of Hexicans come to me and they say, my big hands can't push them little buttons. I can't make any use of this bullshit. Well, I said, well, there's the Model 1. Whoa, that's very nice in the hand. So everyone likes or dislikes the Model T. But there's so much data on there that you can actually physically review before you click the button, and it's much larger real estate, and sometimes it's all on one single display, which I love. So a larger visible display, but with two buttons, is a start. It's a big improvement, right? So that people can see more on the real estate, but you don't have to physically click the button. An ability to enter in your longer sequence of numbers for your login, right? Your password, so to speak. That would be nice. Even with two buttons, it's still fine, but you're actually putting it in and not worrying about clicking on the screen for the little dots and stuff like that. That is really neat stuff, but I'd still like to be able to enter in my passphrase directly into the device like the Model T. That's an improvement. And then 24-word native with Shamir backup. The end. That's all I wanted. And it was a minor tweak here and a minor tweak there. Borrowing from column A and borrowing from column B and putting them back to make a column C. That's it. You have all the things in front of you, but these two SKUs, the T and the 1, they both have to be used together now to make my life, reasonably copacetic.
Yeah.
But that's my feeling is they came close. I'm sorry, one more analogy. You have a cheeseburger at McDonald's. You've got, a morning sandwich that lacks cheese. How about taking the cheese element that you use for your cheeseburger and putting it on your sausage muffin? Wouldn't that be amazing? But no, they're like, throw the cheese out the window and say, here's the same old again.
I think you hit on the head.
Cheese? Like what?
Yeah, I think you hit on the head as far as like things. Honestly, I don't think about many improvements for the hardware. Like even when they come out with new, it's almost like the business model breakdown in hardware wallets is they kind of just do something and hopefully they do it well, or sometimes they do it more well and less well. And we see different, a lot of stuff. We saw the policy stuff about I think that was did that affect Ledger and
Ledger only the higher SKUs, which destroyed their entire higher range. Yeah.
So like avoiding stuff like that, like setting out the principles, policies and stuff that avoid like that those situations happening, and then just making a product that just works. And you don't really need many more new versions. And I don't even know why they make them the size they do. I wonder if they're trying to, so you can fit them in certain areas, or like why aren't they bigger?
Yes. Yeah.
For transit and otherwise, I don't know why. I don't know why they. I would like to interview some of the designers and be like, why do you make these different design choices? That could probably inform us a little bit too. But anyways, I don't get that excited about the new ones, because I'm kind of like, just don't mess it up. Kind of like you're saying too, like just don't change anything that everyone likes. It's kind of like the thing I could be excited about.
Yep. They're touting that this is more usable for the onboarding of new users, but I guarantee that Trezor Suite has not gone through such a facelift, and with the 2-button thing, people are still going to have to be calling the likes of you and myself up to say, how do I start this thing? I thought it was a harmonica and I could just say, hello computer, and it would all work for it myself. But check this out. It gets even. I wanted to say exactly that there's 2 other announcements that also came out of Trezor, and they get increasingly ridiculous. So the second announcement was their physical backup solution, which is another one of these kind of. It marries both the tube concept and the engraving or the punching of the actual, you remember you chip off the one letter that you want, and then you stick it into the sheath, and everything's made of these high class materials that they say are, it's water, flood, and fire resistant. It's exactly the stuff that we've been preaching to everybody. You have to find a flood and fire resistant method of backing up your seeds that has the flexibility of also being obfuscated. In this case, check this out. The one thing that got me excited was, okay, it's a tube design. It's hexagonal. So I'm like, fuck yes. So that was exciting. But then you dig deeper into it, and it only accomplishes the backup of 12 fucking words. And this is in a day and age when even they say, you got to be using passphrases because, you got to be using passphrases because there is a vulnerability, even for our secure element.
Yeah.
So, but when you use a passphrase, that vulnerability is nothing because it never gets stored on the device. And they said that on stage, exactly the things that I've heard you and myself, we've been telling everybody. And that's great. But why the fuck, for $99, would you sell something that only secures 12 words and makes obfuscation a little bit more difficult because they're all connected with each other? They're saying that, of course, you should do it right reading. I mean, all these bad things for $99. What you could buy a truckload of fender washers for $99. Right, and you could do a great backup that accomplished 24 words and your entire passphrase, and allowed you to physically scramble them up and then make that do the right thing. Why the hell would they cater to the dumbest, lowest common denominator in our burgeoning ecosystem by giving them a 12-word seed for $99?
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of marketing things that happen that you're just like, what? Like, for example, Signal, they stopped supporting text support. So everyone's got to use another messenger. It's like, I understand you want to get everyone on board for encrypted messaging and stuff, but there's some people who would never do that. Like, you may be able to get your parents on it. You may be able to get, your aunts and your family and people that are illiterate, but otherwise, I mean, you're just screwing everyone else over, kind of like you said.
When is Signal dropping that? Because I just texted yesterday on Signal. No. No, really?
I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. You better check.
Maybe I didn't update, so
it's been a couple months. You got to literally like back up. I remember doing the process. Like, they stop letting you use the app, and then you have to stop. You have to like back it up, and then you have to roll it back out. And they try to like put all your messages back in your default message. If you use an Android versus iOS and stuff like that. But it's just like, why can't there's a button to switch between the two. It worked fine. Like, why can't I have one messaging app? You got to make me use two now. You're not going to make everyone I know who is computer illiterate do encrypted messaging. It's not going to happen. So,
if I could count the amount of times that I've migrated from those types of apps because of some exploit or some lack of or some wiping of all memory by accident, or all these crazy things, or the fact that there's a derivation of or an offshoot, an off branch of PGP, for example, that is never supposed to have supported VoIP, but they do, and I gotta like always cobble together something that encrypts a point-to-point, type of discussion I want to have with the likes of Max, for example, because he's an Uber security dude. So he only insists on doing this. If I could count the amount of times that I've migrated from one platform to the other, I think I'd run out of fingers and toes. So it really, Max, when is it all going to get easy and secure? I know that privacy is something that people don't care about, because I tried to preach that and sell that type of stuff back in the day, finding that the public is really just not even concerned about privacy. It's bullshit. But security, when do we have a secure connectivity that works and is convenient for everybody to use?
When it's cheap enough, is the simple answer. It's just more expensive. Like, why doesn't everyone use a hardware wallet? You have to buy one, and then you have to spend time to learn how to use it, and then actually use it instead of just let it sit in the corner. So, like, why don't we have secure? Why is anything hackable? I mean, there's always a certain point where the code can never be perfect. There's always going to be some kind of like way around it at some point for more and more advanced users. But just like cryptography, it's not perfect either. It just takes an extremely long time to crack whatever encryption they're using, if it's high enough caliber and stuff for it to work. So it's not about things being secure. It's about making it expensive enough where nobody even wants to try, because it's not worth it, or it can't happen in our lifetimes. They can't decrypt PGP in our lifetimes, like not yet, until we get more and more advanced, and then we start switching to other things. I mean, even with Bitcoin, it's like, rich people. I remember the old Richard streams. People are like, what happens when quantum computers and Bitcoin and all this stuff? He's like, then we'll fork and we'll do another thing, and we'll worry about it when it comes. So it's all about outlasting the people who are trying to get access to the information. And the government's got all the computers, they got all the stuff, but still we got a chance as long as 24 word C phrases come to mind too at this point. So the stronger the better. But it's just not cheap enough. It's not cheap enough for everyone to use yet. So it's always going to be incremental. So I don't know. You asked me in 2050, are we going to have, is hacking computers going to be extremely hard and rare in 2050? I don't know. Like, it's going to be less common, I would say, but in a way, I don't know. There's always going to be different bugs. There's always going to be different things that the developer didn't intend to do that happen, and people can, make the program do whatever flow they want. So we'll see.
Well,
you get cheap enough though.
Yep. But back to you and I being old, I'm sure that when you were just in diapers, like I still am in diapers, but anyway, back when we were in diapers, in diapers. Thank you. The second time around is always the best. Oh, are you drinking tea, sir? Are you drinking tea? You're putting your little pinky out as well. Yeah, I like that.
The cup's not big enough for my fingers, so I kind of just got to do this.
Yeah, but I saw a little pinky go out. That was very, very classy of you.
Oh,
so
actually, I did have high tea the other day, so maybe I
did you? I got high last night. Yeah. So check this out.
Tangentially related.
Yeah. So when we were just young whippersnappers, knee high to a beanpole, is that the expression that y'all say?
Sure.
Yeah.
So the computers were like the size of they had to put them in warehouses because they were just so huge, and they were clacking away doing simple mathematical equations just into a proof of concept that they could actually formulate averages and things. The price of them was astronomical as well. I mean, a huge amount of the U.S. Defense budget was put into this, computer technology with IBM and all this other crap. Just in 50 years, so much has been, micronized and become affordable. With attackers always leading the way to innovation, right? The reason that, or for security innovation, that is, that's just the way things go. So when you have this outlook of it not being cost efficient to like get a quantum, a quantum computer chip that has to be, cooled down with liquid nitrogen and then explodes after 3 uses, that type of technology will be refined, I think, in the future, used for good and evil, and I think the price will naturally become lower unless we hit this ceiling. But when it comes to crypto, go ahead.
No, just on that, there's two variables here: time and cost. So cost is what you're hitting on there, but also it could be relatively cheap, but it also could take 50 years to happen. So you don't want to take 50 years to get to data, or you don't want it to take $1 million to steal, 10K or uncover 10K worth of whatever. So
correct.
Just a caveat.
No. That's a great point. But attackers never lead. I don't know if they never do. Do attackers ever lead the way in terms of technology from a hardware specific standpoint? That would require
absolutely
so that would require like an entire state or nation to get behind it for nefarious acts. But the conundrum for me is, if you make digital assets, if you grab them all, you steal them all, you've decreased the value of them to anyone.
Yeah.
So if you announce, I've hacked Bitcoin, the only thing you can do is bring it down, and then there'll be something else that sprouts up.
Like,
so it's a total waste of time.
We're going to go use this other network now, but enjoy your
exactly.
Bitcoin.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. So that's the big question: is where do we see value in the future? I think is the bigger question, right? Where do attackers see it worth their while to actually go after things? Is it water? Is it air? Is it land? Right? I think that we will go backwards in time, and we'll look to those types of resources as the truly hard assets that you want to go and grab.
Yeah. I mean, and just you brought up kind of indirectly brought up another principle of don't make things valuable so people don't try to steal it. So if you're a server out there, stop collecting data. If you're running a DApp website or whatever, you can turn off logging. You can turn off do things whatever they're within your jurisdiction and all that stuff. Don't do anything bad. But if you don't need to keep people's private keys, if you don't need to keep their passwords, if you don't need to keep other things, if you can offload it on some other third party that does some magic crypto that says this is correct, it's what is the one homomorphic encryption, where you don't need to see the data, you just need to verify enough where it looks like it's correct. You don't need to actually read the data. You can just do some math on it to make sure this is the correct data, even though you don't actually see it. Stuff like that, I think it's going to become really popular. So there isn't, hacking a website isn't going to be valuable because there's no data stored on there. Now you can do other stuff. If you hack a website, now you control it. You can serve people content, whatever you want. You can put on malware on there, blah, blah, blah. But devaluing assets, devaluing infrastructure, especially in crypto land, is extremely important, because if I'm an attacker and I'm going to look to steal a bunch of money or funds or private keys or whatever, and I know that you're not keeping any of that stuff on the server, well, I'm not going to target you because it's not worth anything. It's not worth the time. So devaluing it by not making anything you host valuable as much as possible is one way to do that. And of course, you talk about different critical infrastructure, water, stuff that be valuable in the future. I mean, just logically speaking, that's where a lot of defenses would go. And just on the point of attackers leading the way as far as understanding what we need to defend. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's kind of like a universal principle anyway. It's you don't know how vulnerable something is until you see it, hopefully in the least the least destructive way possible, see it get attacked either somewhere else or here, and then okay, that is an actual thing. People have done it before. Let's protect against that. That's like one train of thought is like offense leads the way as far as security defenses, because you need to know how the attacks work before you can defend against them. That's why I love the transparency about talking about different security attacks and stuff too, because that helps defenders figure out how to stop them. And then the other side is theoretical, which is this could be an attack, kind of defense in depth a lot of times too. This could be an attack. We want to protect against it. We want to change the permissions on this file, or we want to make sure this has a password on it, even though we've never seen it be attacked before. But just in case it is, like that's going to be another, the attacker's going to need +1 bug in order to get past this now, because we already put extra defenses in place. So 2 different trains of thought, but yeah, definitely offense leads the way as far as showing what stuff needs protected. And you mentioned the hardware wallets getting dumped earlier too. Yeah, if you don't have a PIN, passphrase and stuff, there are attacks that can dump. If somebody gets physical access, your keys can be dumped from there. So but we would have never known that. It would always been like, if that would have never happened, we would have never known to even tell people and show the importance of putting extra stuff like the PIN. Well, not even extra. The should be default stuff now. The PIN and passphrase on hardware wallet. Otherwise, somebody steals your computer or your password machine, they can get it.
That's really funny. You just opened up another can of worms. So sometimes, and we hope more times than not, we've got this other element, which are the middle ground, the gray hats and the white hats that really enjoy the science, and they try to bang on things, yourself included, I think, in your background, ethical hacking and finding those exploits or those vulnerabilities before they happen and alerting the manufacturers or the people that would keep us safe so that they can seal those holes and apply those patches. So people were coming to me saying, this just trading is all well and good, but, Ledger is superior because they don't have the physical vulnerability. And I'm like, the chipset reader does, if the attacker does have physical control of your device, like you said, they can extract the seeds, plain and simple, across all SKUs from Ledger and Trezor. But the minute that you use a passphrase, and you should, that neutralizes that threat. So I have to remind people to always use a passphrase. And if you don't have a passphrase or don't know what a passphrase is, jump on b9.xyz or watch Max's videos and understand exactly what that is and what a higher degree of security that will afford you. And start to migrate your assets. If they're liquid, migrate them to a new wallet with a passphrase incorporated into it. And if not, if you're staked like hexagons are most likely, then wait until your stakes mature and then migrate them to a new wallet slowly over time. That's just a public service announcement.
Is that your professional background, like security and code development, or is that just a passion for?
No, that's what I've been doing. I mean, that's why I seem so old, is because I started super young with computers and coding and otherwise, and then found myself in, hey, they have jobs for these things. You can actually make a living doing that. And then once crypto came along, like, well, I don't want to do that stuff anymore. I want to go full, I want to go crypto, not full-time crypto. But I mean, honestly, my job is very flexible, thankfully. So I kind of am full-time crypto, funny enough, in a way, where I feel like I'm working full-time, getting paid negative numbers, in both time, energy, and money.
Welcome to the club.
That's how we like it.
It's an exclusive club. I got to say, I feel like it's one of those things where, like I said at the beginning, you put in the work, right? Like you want to see something happen, you can't. I was talking to Gold Key on the Founders Week yesterday, and Dipcatcher too, but Gold Key brought this up, which I also talked to him about on Mad Game Mindset, which he's a great guest to have on. He's like super knowledgeable about a lot of this stuff, especially community based. Anyways, he was talking about how like we need to help Hex. Like Hex is not. It doesn't just survive like without people talking about it, onboarding people. Like again, like it's kind of lost it was the only thing, and now there's 100 different. Now there's like 4 things, and then there's like 100 different other things too. So it doesn't survive without us willing it. Like we have to go put in the work, and that's where the motivation comes from. Like I love this community. I love the products. The founder is an awesome guy. He's a hero. Like Richard is a hero. I like a lot of, I'm a maximalist for his ideals. Like for his products are just an extension of that, but his ideals is where I came the maximalist comes from.
But you started your channel like a year and a half ago, is that right? And
yeah, last May, I want to say.
2022, right? Because you're already 8,000 subscribers, which is awesome. You've got almost 2,000 videos. You're coming close to 2,000 videos now, so that's definitely what I would call putting in the work. But have you been around since the beginning of a Hex, or did you join later?
So definitely the beginning. So I've only been public, like I've just been kind of, I've been watching Hexo for a long time, and like all the streamers, I kind of seen them come up and come around. Coffee at the time too, like just kind of watching videos. Yeah, well, it's a bear market. You got an out if you want it, but it's fine. They'll be back. We hope. We just don't want them to go anywhere else. That's fine. If they want to take a break, take a break. Just come back when you want to come back.
Yeah.
But yeah, since 2017, this is my Twitter profile, Synthesizing Wisdom from Richard Hart since 2017. Nice. I was lucky enough to come across him when I first got into crypto. Well, 2016, I first got in. 2017 is when I was at a party and somebody was like, hey, have you heard this Richard Hart guy? He's like saying Ethereum has all these like security vulnerabilities and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, as even not even knowing much about Ethereum back then, being a security guy, I was like, really? It seems okay. It seems world computer. It's like, yeah, there's attack surface or whatever, but it's everyone's using it. But it is the platform. It solves the problem, all this stuff. So I guess I just got interested in because I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, why is this a problem? And even to this, we see Richard's like, Hex was built on Ethereum. After he got more comfortable with it, he started saying nicer things. And then, hey, he's like, no, actually, you're too expensive now. Let's create Pulsechain. But that's what first got me into it, was kind of like challenging the ideal of what's wrong with Ethereum. Like, I like Ethereum. Ethereum seems great, especially in 2017. It was like, $6, $7, $8, $9. I remember seeing that. I could literally see the page on Coinbase. I remember seeing it. It's like, oh, Ethereum's like $750 right now. Now, how much should I buy? All those times. But yeah, back then it was kind of that. And then I got into his self-help, self-development series. I'm like, whoa, this guy's actually like a good dude. He's like trying to help people understand and be the best version of themselves. Like that. This is like, he's like contributing to the world at this point. So he was literally the first guy. I just got lucky. I came into crypto. This is one of the times I don't like when people say, oh, you got lucky, success, money, all this stuff.
This is not luck. No.
This is well, maybe it was meant to be, but yeah, this is one of the times where I felt lucky to come across him as the person to learn from versus all the other people I could have came across in crypto. Could have came across anyone else, but it was Richard at the time. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, once you see Richard, once you learn about what he's about and the ideals, you can't, he draws you in, right? Like this is an interesting guy. He's entertaining. He's informative. He's got a mission. He wants to get stuff done. He's like, bring your heroes here to die, Richard. He's twerking Richard. He's got all the Richards, longevity Richard, all those guys. So it was amazing.
But above all, he's a human and he's mortal and he's just a smart dude. That's it.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of things I've talked about this on the show too. There's plenty of things I disagree with Richard. Like, I'll have the PH guys on in about an hour or so, and then I'm going to talk about that too. Like, hey, talk about leverage trading. I know Richard railed against leverage trading, but also
I thought you were going to talk about bad cholesterol intake.
Bad cholesterol intake.
Yeah, I disagree with him.
It's usually on the agenda. It's usually on the agenda. That and bologna sandwiches, but I think.
Let me shift gears into hard reverse for a second. I'm going to ask you the most juvenile question, but there's method to my madness. All of us that have been here for a long time, kind of like when you acquire a foreign language, you really crossed some kind of big divide when you dream in that language. Have you ever had the Hex dream? Anything to do with Hex in it?
Like an actual dream about Hex?
An actual dream about Hex. I just had one last night. I want to share it, but let me know if you have.
I have. I can't remember though. I'm not sure. I feel like I have something about the ecosystem or otherwise. I'm sure I have at some point. I just can't remember what it was about.
Right. It's okay. I just had my first last night, and I wanted to share it with you and DJ Cryptomatic and everybody else in case you're wondering, curious. It's a really
legit. The reality has changed.
So check this out. I got 6 hours of sleep last night. So effectively for 6 hours, I had a heroin addiction. just for 6 hours in this dream. Okay. I fell asleep on my right arm. So as I became number and number, the dream intensified, and there were episodes of me using the drugs, like actually cordoning off my arm and getting the vein, and really, really vivid stuff, really enjoying the heroin addiction. And then it like cascades into like a problem, and people say, "Are you okay?" And then I'm actually, strung out, and I'm like breaking into cars trying to get batteries to go pay for my drug addiction, and it gets really, really bad. It's like I'm concerned that I'm never going to come out of this dream. It's all going to go to hell, right? Drugs are my thing. And then I find myself in an AA, Alcoholics Anonymous or Drug Anonymous meeting, and I'm on methadone, and someone says, "Papa, would you like to speak?" And I say, "Hi everyone, my name is Papa." "Hey Papa," and then it's like, I haven't used in like 5 days. It's really hard. But then I thought that was a great opportunity now that I've got everyone's attention, and because I'm such a narcissist, I say, start to make things a little bit lively. And I say, "Hey, have you guys heard about HEX?" So I onboarded this entire drug, addiction type of band of people. There were like 20 people from all different walks of life, all different people. And they all really got it. And they all, at the end, they're like, "Oh, the T-shirts are the thing. And we're going to get on this, and we got our hardware wallets. We're going to go. And we had like 20 new Hexicans born out of this situation. And at the end, I said as a punchline, "And just think of all the heroin that we can afford in the bull market." And that was the end. Thank you.
Wow.
The onboarding dream.
The onboarding dream. Yeah.
We have a joke from Finbear.
That's amazing.
Sale at a local store where they were selling all of the remaining Legos. It was a huge success. People were lined up for blocks.
Oh, God. People were lined up for blocks.
Finbear.
Yes.
Just processing the group.
Are you a father, Max? Have you procreated?
I have, yes.
Then would that joke from father to father, would that not be the best dad joke you've heard in a spell?
The Legos?
Yeah. There was a sale on Legos. People were lining up for blocks. Yeah.
Lining up for blocks. Okay, I got it. I could make it out for a minute. Yes.
Right.
That's
right.
a good joke, actually.
Yeah.
I wouldn't line up for it. I would buy it on Amazon though. I just kill it. Like I'm not lining up for anything. I just literally I'm done with. If I'm going to Disneyland or whatever, I'm buying the pass that skips the line. I just cannot trade time. I will trade as much money for time as possible. Like I'm totally on that. I'm not skimping anymore. It's full steam ahead. Like
nice.
Back to the aging thing though. How did you enjoy your stream with Aubrey de Grey? Like I had the pleasure to see him live in Vegas a year ago.
Jealous of that.
At his conference.
He's awesome.
What did you think about having him on your show?
Yeah, that was the second time. First time, Richard actually retweeted it, and I went from like 15 people to like 100 and some. I'm like, what happened? I was checking Twitter.
Yeah, that's the power of Richard's retweet.
Yeah. I was hoping to do it this time, but it's fine. No expectations. But it went great. That's the second time. First time we got to cover a lot of just kind of the basics, and I just kind of came up with some questions around different timelines and therapies and how the stuff actually works. And I first came across him. He did the TED Talk at Google. I think it was the first full thing I watched of him, about an hour, 50 minutes, hour long, where he goes through each therapy and how it would work and how it would reverse aging in different ways. And after that, I was like, I always kind of believe it again from Richard. Like I could never imagine myself being in the longevity research without like coming across Richard and seeing him be so passionate and talk about it and speak about it so many different times and support it. So it's natural. Like I came across Aubrey, and then I watched the video. I'm like, this makes complete sense. Just like a car, you just repair things. It takes maintenance, and then you live longer. Like you just repair the damage. It's so easy. Of course, there's more complicated, more steps, and more research, and more money needed to make it so easy, to make it where it's just an injection or a pill or whatever it's going to be. But it just seemed like of all the things to work on in the world, like again, hero. Like this guy is literally trying to like help people live longer lives and trying to like get away from this pro death. Everyone did it before me. We don't need to work on it. It's just a natural thing. Get away from that mindset of just accepting it and be like, okay, yeah, we're all going to die one day. However, why don't we live as healthy and as long as possible? Why don't we work on doing that instead of all the other crap we do and how to make the best tasting burger and all that stuff? That's good. I like food too. But like, how do we live longer? And like getting to meet a person, spend time with them and ask him questions. He's very like, he'll just hand out his email address and he's very responsive. And I just couldn't believe it. I was very amazed. Again, I haven't met him in person yet, but having him on stream for the second time, I was just like, man, this he wants to make a difference like that. And kind of like Richard, like he wants to be a force for good in the world. Like he wants to solve these problems that nobody else is funding or working on. And like, if we don't, like, the faster we solve them, the more time we get. So like, to me, it's just a no-brainer to support stuff like that.
But hold on a second. Didn't he opine on stage? I mean, last time he spoke that I was paying attention to very carefully, taking notes. He said he could stop the aging process in 10 years and he could reverse it in 20. So that was 3 years ago. So it's only 7 years left, man. I need that pill. So what the fuck is the status of that, Max?
What needs to happen is, I actually spoke about this in the second one. I asked him that question directly. No, not exactly, but we did talk about it of, hey, wouldn't it be great if all these crypto guys got really rich and then they thought, what do I want to do with this? I want to do something good. And then they gave it to people who are working on stuff like that. Exactly. Wouldn't that be amazing to make sure that 10-year and 20-year plan works out? I hope that happens. Like, I imagine if Aubrey gets like $500 million in the next few years, I think we may be on track.
But given the drama that we went through with the whole charitable donation to the Sens Foundation and his separation from that the Sens Foundation, what's he doing now? Has he branched off and restarted his own research institute and done everything he did? Yeah. Do we do another sacrifice for him? Jesus, no.
Yeah, let's go.
I don't know if anybody wants to sacrifice right now, but yeah, he did LEV Foundation. So he's doing his own foundation, but I think it's okay. I think the way he talks about it too is essentially not that they're working on different things, but I think having his own foundation starting from the ground up is probably good. Again, this is just my interpretation of it. It sounds like it's going to be a good thing because he can sort of, maybe control things a little bit more, spend time in different areas, and then work on different stuff that he knows that, they're not working on. Maybe like there's stuff that he knows they're going to focus on or sees the research they're doing and said, okay, like let's let them do this. We can work on these other areas. So I think hopefully it turns out to be a win-win. Hopefully it turns out to be complementary instead of just like a duplicative effort. I have a feeling it's got to be that way. The more labs, the better working on this stuff.
Right. Cool. I did not know that he had already established
Quattro Cinco steak.
Sorry, go ahead.
We got to last for the Quattro Cinco steak. That's all part of the Hex experience.
I got to last to see all that Ethereum gas money go away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Maximus guys have some products for you as well.
That's correct.
Yeah, and also there's something coming out as well. I don't want to pop the cork off of it, but we've been reviewing a series of contracts with something that would also answer that. I'm glad that there's multiple avenues of hope when it comes to keeping the value of the Hex on Ethereum alive and well, because I'm a pro advocate of enjoying both of your duplicates, and just like Richard says, I want to see Hex expensive on all chains.
Imaginary horrible. What if Pulsechain got reversed and never existed, and then all the money went back into EHEX? That's weird.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that what's done is done. And
are you Pampet Boner or Papa Boner? Pampet Boner.
Oh damn, man. No, but it's just like you and I can't consider retro. Thank you. Retroactive birth control, for example, isn't a thing. Now we have 2 children and not just one. We've forked, so we should support everything.
Nobody can be a little bit pregnant. I always like that one.
Exactly.
You're never a little bit pregnant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I would. Yeah.
I answered this or I didn't answer it. I asked Richard this exact question. EHEX, like, is PHEX a migration? Once Pulsechain launched last year at the one of Maddie's conferences. I have the link and he retweeted it too to confirm it. He's like, no, it is not a migration. So take it for what you will. I don't want to stir up any EHEX PX stuff, but he said before, and he retweeted it to confirm earlier this year that PHEX is not a migration away from EHEX.
What would that mean for the layman? That it's a copy.
It means
it's not a copy. It does its own thing.
It means that they're two unique things, and both of them are very interesting, and they continue to function as he wanted them to.
I would say my interpretation at the basic level would be he didn't intend for EHEX to go away with launching Pulsechain. He didn't intend for it to go away. If it goes away, the market decides it goes away, But his intention wasn't a migration to abandon EHEX and only go to PX. That was not his intention. That was my interpretation, at least.
But don't you think they would fix the fees eventually in the Ethereum?
I think so.
Foundation.
I think so. I think the fees will go, and I think Pulsechain fees will go higher because PLS hopefully will be worth more, and we're going to be paying more for it. If PLS is only worth what it is today in 5 years, is that success? That doesn't sound like success. It sounds like it's not worth very much still. Why is that? And why? Expensive gas fees come from more valuable networks. Until they solve that problem, until they turn those knobs in a certain way, that is the current mental model. Expensive gas fees equals valuable network because people are using it, and it's worth something.
Can you explain this Xen thing that happened? That on day 3 of the Pulsechain launch, they played around on Pulsechain with their tokens and their contracts, and all of a sudden, the gas fees, the beat exploded, where it was totally possible for a fraction of a pulse on day 1 to transact, whereas then it cost 100 or 500 pulls to transact, and it never came back down to day 1 levels. Why is that? Even though
I think you have to look at the volume. Aren't they still running? Isn't all that stuff still running?
Speaking of volume, you're really high on the volume there, Max.
Your mic.
You got to pop a motor problem. Yeah.
Test 1, 2, 3. Is it high?
Over modulation.
Is it? I didn't change anything.
No, I know, but whisper to us.
What do you want to hear? What do you want to hear me say?
No, R2, play back the whole message.
What? Everything goes crazy.
What do you want me to say to you? Are we doing the what is the when you speak you whisper? What was that?
ASMR.
ASMR. We're doing
ASMR. Yeah.
Oh, you're coming back to normal now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think sometimes sometimes Bluetooth will make the computer go do crazy things. Anyways, I think it's just volume. I mean, I would have to look at the stats. We'd have to bring up the volume stats, but I assume that the gas price is still high because the traffic on the network demands it. So unless there was just like a setting of market value, but I'm pretty sure the volume is still not nearly as high as it was on day 3 when all that stuff happened, but still probably pretty high. That's why it did go down a little bit. It was like
a little bit, yeah.
I'm paying like 5 or 10 cents, and now it's much less than that. I'm pretty sure when I do transactions. So
yeah.
Volume, demand, market demand. That Vitalik Buterin guy, smart guy, dresses funny sometimes, like Air guy, but smart guy as well.
Smart cookie. Awesome. Well,
there you go. I think that we any other. I mean, we're almost at our one hour
all the time
hard stop. What the hell?
Max needs to get back to the builders. Bob the Builders Week.
Bob the Builders Week.
That's what it's called. It's called ASMR Week with special guests from the community.
So
rename it now.
Max, but before we close out, another hideous, terrible stillbirth of a show. But thank you for making it alive and well and cheerful and informative above all else.
Thank you for joining us.
Before we close it out, can you please tell us, where tell everybody where they can find you and what's coming up and what this builders thing schedule is and how many more days are left and how much percentage they get off of anything they order off of Amazon. Go.
Well, shoot. I have negative ref links to show you.
Nice.
Unfortunately, it's just kind of my policy. However, I'm trying to find if I can.
Wherever they are down below in the description, just scroll down, guys. Follow our
what ref links? There's no ref link. We don't ref link.
Oh, I don't think I'm a mod. I'll put it in the private chat of today's stream. But yeah, what I was saying earlier about if DJ, if you want to post it in the live, if you want to.
I can.
Yeah, today I got Buck for the first time on the show. Buck's come on. Dylan's been on a few times before, but going over the PH ecosystem, today is day 4. So that should be a good one. Again, it's like Richard's railed against leverage trading, all this stuff before. I mean, he's also railed against a lot of other things too. But I think I really want to have a good conversation, objective conversation about pros and cons, the risk, and then there's controversy, all this stuff too, about that. And otherwise, people have disagreements, but I think it's fine. I think disagreements. I've never, people not wanting me to have people on the show before, or for not saying in particular this one, but just in general, like I've got pushed back before. Oh, don't have this person, a scammer, all this stuff. And to me, it's those decisions I make, and I don't, just because you disagree with somebody, it doesn't mean like they should be like erased or like just nobody ever talked to them or ever. I think there's lots of people building that are doing things in a certain way that some people disagree with, but I think they also have other pros and fundamentals and other ways to uplift and help the community grow too, that are kind of either overshadowed or just not paid enough attention to. So when I have people on the show, I like to get into it. I've had people on before that I probably wouldn't have on again. I've had people on the show before, which I'd like to have on many, many, many times. But I guess the message I'm doing my best to like interview people that I think are doing good things in the community. And I think they should be heard, whether you agree with them or not. So that's how I run my show.
Yeah. No, we
Very
thank you
cool.
for what you're doing. You've become a pillar in the streaming circus around here, and you're doing a great work for the community. It's all about showcasing the RH ecosystem. And I think Richard would agree that, yes, he is against leverage trading. He's many times said that, but Pulsechain is another animal than Hex. And, if Buck doesn't build a platform like that, someone else would. So I think it's some of the experts would probably say it's needed for a layer 1 blockchain to have these kind of services, have lending. But then we're still dealing with adults, so everybody should do their own research, I guess, and you're free to use them or not, I guess. So I don't think it's bad to necessarily to showcase the founders of these things.
I'm not interested in meme coins much at all. Like
Yeah,
very few exceptions.
That's another one.
But
NFTs,
I'm
memes,
glad they exist.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're here. I'm glad they're bringing traffic to Pulsechain. I hope people take, they understand the risks. They do all this stuff. I've talked about them going to zero many, many times, but I'm not going to be like, they shouldn't be here. Like, I'm not going to like, I don't know. I don't have to pay much attention to them, but I'm not going to rail against them either. So it's one of those things. We need everything.
Yep. And in the last 30 seconds that we have on this broadcast, on a serious note, and not to be so much of a downer, but we did have to give some kind of nod to the geopolitical issues that are now raging in Israel and Gaza. I guess mine is simply a message of restraint when it comes to hurting of innocent people on both sides. Now that this conflict is upon us, I hope and pray for a quick resolution that costs very few innocents their lives. That is the worst thing that happens in this type of thing. And yeah, please open your heart to people that are struggling here, and maybe don't tend to joke about these things until they're long in the rearview mirror. So thank you very much, everybody, for showing up today. And take us out of here, DJ.
Yes, thoughts and prayers to everyone that's suffering in the Middle East on both sides, I would say, especially families with children. It's always the children that bear most of the pain for these things. So really, thoughts and prayers go out to everyone affected. And that's an outro. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We see you on the next one. RHMax, salute.
Yep. Thanks, everyone. See you later.
Shalom Chavarim, Shalom Chavarim, Shalom, Shalom. להתראות, להתראות, Shalom, Shalom. Shalom Chavarim, Shalom Chavarim, Shalom. Shalom.